Spiderman 2 is out and I'm excited to check it out on the RTX 3080 Ti with the Ryzen 7 9800X 3D. I'll be having a couple more benchmarks after this, but we'll be starting it off with the 3080 Ti first. So I'm excited. I've been waiting for this game for a while now, and I'm glad it's finally on Steam. So it released like an hour before the 50 series card launch, which was a disaster, by the way. I was trying to get one and it was sold out before I could even get one to be in the cart. It was sold out. It was so quick. Anyways, let's get to the game and see how this puppy works. So if you look at the system requirements for the game, which apparently they just released like a day before the game came out, which is strange. We are having a 3080 Ti, so it should be able to run the game with ray tracing at 1440p at 60 FPS. And that's what they're saying, so we should be able to do that. Yeah, so if you want the ultimate ray tracing and at 4K 60 FPS, you definitely need to have a 4090 according to their requirements. So we will be testing everything out as well and see how things go. Okay, so before we jump into the game, let me show you the system rig. Go to Task Manager, and CPU is the Ryzen 7 9800X 3D at base speed of 4.70 GHz. Memory, we are having a DDR5 6000 MHz, 64 gigabytes of memory, and then the GeForce RTX 3080 Ti with the latest driver, which released today, 572.16. So there you have it. Now let's jump into the game. But before that, let's start off with the settings. Let's just turn the DLSS off for now and just have TAA for now. No frame generation, no dynamic resolution scaling, and no VSync. Okay, and then graphics. Let's start with very high. No ray tracing. Just keep ray tracing off for now. Field of view. Let's max it out. Motion blur, no. Film grain, sharpness. Sharpness maybe like 5. Film grain also 5. Okay, and all of the other post-process effects. Alright, let's see. I gotta do the stupid sign-in for the PSN. Why? Alright, that's out of the way. Peter and Miles looks pretty crispy right there, not gonna lie. So display and graphics again, we just saw what I did. No upscaling right now, everything is native on 4K and very high graphics without any ray tracing. Alright, time for some action, guys. Yeah, everything's been so smooth so far. Okay, let me just start counting the FPS. Getting 50 FPS. Oh, that was a big stutter. Principal Evans already hates me for being late this morning. It's really good to be back on this game. We're getting 40 FPS. This is 4K max settings without any ray tracing. Whee! Just a quick little 360. Getting 50 FPS, but the frame time graph is pretty terrible right now. 30 to 40 FPS. Man, it feels so good to be back in this game. I like the swinging. And with Miles by our side, yeah, this is pretty cool, not gonna lie. These games always have these really dynamic introduction, which is always exciting. This was again ported to the PC by Nexus. They're the same guys who did the other games. Oh, we are getting a big drop right here because of all these sand effects. But we're still hanging around in the higher 30s to the lower 40s. Wow, this is insane, guys. There it is. There he is, Sandman. Whee! Woo! This is insane, guys. We're going to we just jumped to the 60s and now we're back to 50s. Keep running, boy, keep running. Woohoo! Okay, we're gonna start attacking and see how the FPS goes. Gotta get my controls used to this again. So we're getting 40s in here. Oh my god, I'm getting jumped by 50 people, man. Eesh. Wait, where's Miles? Oh, okay. We're getting all the cool stuff from the jump. That's cool. Everything is falling apart. It's good. We're getting the 36 FPS. Everything in shambles. The frame time graph is pretty stable though, even though it's like it's a little bit jittery from what you can see, but it feels pretty smooth. Oh yeah, my boy Miles. The way he swings is way cooler than Peter. Oh shit! Ooh, that's a big one. My boy is armed and dangerous, just like Winter Soldier. Bam! Again! Oh no! Damn! Oh my god! My boy got two off into the next map. We're still getting the, still getting 30 to 40 FPS. Ah, I was looking at the frame time graph, man. Got me slacking. Oh, I forgot about the Venom Punch. Always cool thing. Ooh, and the music changed too. 30 FPS. And that was the last one. Oh, we got a ranged attack, guys, now. So when you do the Venom Punch, the FPS goes down to 25. Alright guys, so let's see how things are with ray tracing. I don't know if you have to restart the game for ray tracing, but let's see. So Ultimate is the last option. Let's also turn on reconstruction. So there's Legacy and Transformer. Okay, let's try Transformer. Why not? All right. We're still getting 26 FPS though.
Ma, everything okay? I'm with Pete.
I know. You're on every channel. I'm heading downtown to help coordinate resources and supplies. Is Genki covering for you at school?
He is. But I got this meeting with my counselor later, and the principal thinks that I'm...
Listen, I can talk to your principal.
21 FPS
Needs you right
with the
now.
ray tracing maxed out. It's not the best way to play, but
New York down.
it's still playable though. But I wouldn't play like this though. Prefer a smooth 60 FPS experience. This is just for the test. Oh yeah, I can actually feel the delay too a little bit, and that drops it down to 18 below, or 10, 15 FPS. Oh my god, I'm getting my ass handed to me. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, it is getting really bad, guys. 18 FPS.
Spiderman would. Right. Brainstorm later, Mouse. Focus. Here goes.
Okay, we're getting around 30 FPS outside. All the mess.
The web wings?
Not really, it's still like 23
Out of this yet.
FPS. The GP memory is like almost over 10 gigabytes. This is a really intense scenario. I'm really curious to see how it will be when we are like outside in the open, just roaming around the city. I'm not facing any major lag or anything, so which is a pretty good sign. No big stutters or anything like that. It's just that the game is a little laggy because the 3080 Ti cannot push further on these settings. And yeah, you probably will need a 4090 for 60 FPS on these settings. It's understandable because the game looks pretty good. Oh my gosh, 16 FPS. This is not the way to play at all. This is an intense scene with a lot of particle effects and all of that crazy stuff going on. Oh my gosh. I might die here. Am I crazy for that? Dying in the tutorial session? It'll be crazy. Yeah, guys, this is not the way to play this game on a 3080. Definitely not. This is intense though. Not gonna lie. Damn, that was a big drop. Yeah, that was the biggest drop so far. 6 FPS. Okay, we are back in the city again after all the first mission. Back to the settings. I turned it off. I turned off ray tracing just to get through the missions quick. So we're back in the city. It's a little sandy at the moment. I'm pretty sure it's gonna get fixed soon. But right now, let's just swing around and see how things are without any ray tracing on and on native settings. Getting 60 to 60 FPS. We are able to get 60 FPS right here though, but it's gonna go, drop down into the 40s like we saw before in the opening sequence, into the 30s, maintaining the 40 FPS mark.
I think I'm gonna start a petition. Replace all the
Ooh, that's a cool move. That's a new move.
like a compliment club.
Pretty smooth so far, guys. There's no lag or anything.
I think I'm onto something. Less guns, more compliments.
That just pulls everybody up in the air in that radius. Just cool. Let's change settings so we know how it works without any upscaling. So let's turn on DLSS and see how it goes. Start with DLSS quality. See if we can get the 60 FPS.
I'll call you back.
Oh my gosh. I think they got me.
Man, what have you ever seen?
I can't believe I just died to these thugs while I was changing settings. Come on. I suck as Spiderman, guys. We're getting almost 60 FPS, which is pretty good. Just rerun the...
Just keep looking for people.
How often does this recharge?
For a long time. When have you ever seen me angry? I'm thinking. It was a rhetorical question. That one time we were playing a board game at your place and you kept...
This feels pretty damn smooth.
I was angry at the universe.
It's back again. Woohoo! Yeah, let's try DLSS quality. I mean DLSS performance now. Performance DLSS. '85 FPS. Let's see how it is in a fight. I like this mechanics a lot, guys. This is pretty cool. We're still dripping down into the 50s. Okay, we're getting 90 FPS, 100 FPS. It's probably because we're inside a building. And it feels really good. You're still in the 60s. It's pretty good.
Spiderman isn't going to get you into college.
I'm making my promise. Gotta run.
Using still about
Big guns?
over 10 gigabytes of video memory. Here comes the big guys.
I can be in physics class right now, memorizing abstract equations for hypothetical situations. You're not gonna win this. I think I like this kind of physics better.
Okay, that was pretty smooth. We're still staying around or above 60 FPS, which is
Check it out.
really good. We are consuming about 336 watts. Now let's change the settings and maybe try turning on ray tracing again and see if it's gonna help or you can maintain. You know what? Maybe not. Let's turn off upscaling and then turn the settings down to low. High. See if we can get a 60 FPS experience. We are getting 40 FPS without any fancy stuff, any upscaling. So this is equivalent to what we got on DLSS quality with maxed out settings. So we are almost 9.5 gigabytes using the video memory.
Didn't we just whoop you? You still here, Marco?
Miles, it's MJ. Just checking in.
I think I'm finding Sandman again. Did he escape already?
No, I'm at the raft. He's right in front of me. But I have a hunch.
Yeah.
Sit tight. Let me talk to his doctors.
Wow. Oh, I remember this move.
Okay, I talked to the doctors. Is there a...
Okay. 40 FPS, so we are still not able to get 60 FPS on native. Let me see if I can get 60 FPS on native settings without any upscalers on medium. Let's go medium. And we are still not able to get 60 FPS. Still getting 50 FPS, guys. 57, almost getting that 60 FPS, but still not quite there yet, you know. So let me see, turning down to low. When you're just standing still, yeah, you definitely get 70, 60 FPS, but you're in action, not gonna get that. It's back to 54. Okay, let's see. Let me see if I can get 60 FPS stable on low. Okay, now we are getting 70s, so this should get us stable 60 FPS. It's still dropping down to the 50s, guys. This is... So even on low native settings, you can get constant 60 FPS. Now, this game is pretty intensive. Right now we're getting about 60, but you know, once things starts happening, it is gonna drop down to the higher 50s. Ew, look at the face detail on low settings. You're saying about 60 FPS. Maybe it's because of Jonah?
Menaces. I'm surrounded by menaces. But J. Jonah Jameson is not going anywhere, you hear me?
Alright, so we are back in the city. And without any sand in our way. And after watching that cutscene, I do not want to play this game on low settings, but we are able to get more than 60 FPS. This 80 FPS, this is how you will be playing the game most of the time, because the sand in the city was just the first mission. And it feels pretty good. So 60 FPS on 4K native is actually possible, but only on the low settings. It's a shame. Okay, let's just start going to the fight and see. Pretty smooth 80 FPS. Okay, let's get this guy to the ambulance and change the settings.
Here you go. And now you're in much better hands.
Let's go back to... There's a very low setting. Huh. Let's see how that is. Still getting around 87, 80 FPS. But look at the texture quality. Oh my gosh. It looks absolutely terrible. Look at the textures. And the shadow. Shadow is grainy as well. Yep. Definitely not the way to play. Especially on a card like this. Nope. So let's just go back to Ultra. And let's run this again. Without any upscalers. Still getting 60 FPS. But it definitely drops down into the 50s.
Hate to interrupt the business meeting, but wait, no I don't. Spiderman. Take the win.
This is still a playable experience, guys. I'm not saying it's not playable or anything, but just trying to get the 60 FPS, constant 60 FPS on these settings. See, right now it's like when you go up in the air and see the entire city, it drops down into the 30s, which is not that good. So let me just go in and turn on DLSS again and go to performance. And we are getting 85, 83 FPS. Let's see if it's gonna drop down into the 50s. Let me try getting into another fight and see if it drops. It's really good to do this. If you're on the ground, we're getting 70 FPS. So this is good. This is playable.
If you're looking for $2 bills, I think the back on 101st has some.
It's still staying pretty solid on the 80s. Pretty good, pretty good. So yeah, if you guys want to have a 60 FPS experience on 4K, you can play like this without the ray tracing, of course. Pretty smooth, and I don't see any loss of texture quality or anything. It looks pretty sharp. And yep, so this is how you should be playing on 4K. Very high settings, no ray tracing, DLSS performance. There you go. Now just for the last time, let's try turning on ray tracing. Very high. And see how that is. And the game just crashed. Oh. Okay, we're back again. I had to restart, of course, after the crash. So very high ray tracing and graphics without any upscalers. On DLSS performance. Getting 55 FPS. 42, 37. Nah, I would not play like this at all. It doesn't feel as smooth as playing without the ray tracing. We are getting 40 to 50 FPS. It's not bad at all.
I better do something. Wait a minute. Try! Think you ran a few? No! You ain't taking us!
What? Yeah guys, so it's 30 to 40 FPS with full ray tracing on DLSS performance. And that should be it for 4K. Now let's go on to 4040p. You know what, wait, before we go into 4040p, let's just turn off frame generation. And see if we can get 60 FPS with that. Will it work with DLSS? I don't think so. Okay, let's just restart the game. Oh my gosh, the artifacting is insanely horrible. Let's just restart the game. Okay, we are back. With frame gen on, we're getting 85 FPS. But oh my god, the artifacting around Spiderman is terrible. And yes, it is noticeable. This is not like Cyberpunk. This is absolutely terrible, guys. But it is a smooth experience, I'm not gonna lie. You guys can see that around him. Yeah, that is pretty horrible. Okay, now we can test out 1440p. Okay, we're on 1440p with the same settings. Let's turn off DLSS for now, and we should be able to get 60 FPS because our GPU is around the system requirement list for 1440p maxed out settings for 60 FPS. We should be getting 60 FPS experience maxed out with the ray tracing. Yeah, you're getting 52 FPS. Still not 60 FPS. 36. Okay. Okay. Let's turn down the settings to let's try without ray tracing and see how that we can get to 60 FPS. Okay, so without ray tracing. I think I read that thing wrong because maybe it's without ray tracing. On maxed out settings, we will get 60 FPS, which is what we are getting right now on 1440p. So the system requirements is pretty accurate by what we can see. Still dropping into the 50s sometimes. Oh yeah, there it is. But yeah, this is definitely a playable experience, guys. Really nice. Let's turn on DLSS quality. Okay, we are in the 85s. It is way better and without any loss of visual quality, because DLSS quality is pretty much gives you the same experience as native. Let's go take that crystal and see. I'm still getting 80 FPS, guys, so which is pretty good. So if you guys have a 4040p monitor and have a 3080 Ti, this is the way to go. Yeah, pretty stable 60 FPS experience right here. Just for the sake of it, let's turn on ray tracing. So very high ray tracing, we're still getting 85 FPS with DLSS quality. Okay, if you turn it to ultimate, it's gonna go down to 48. No, we don't want that. No, yeah, now it's applied. Now we're getting 40s. 50 FPS. Yeah. Yeah, you guys definitely don't want to have ray tracing turned on 1440p to have the 60 FPS smooth experience. Even with DLSS, it's not gonna give you stable 60s. But maybe we can. Let's just try DLSS performance instead of quality. See if that works. Instead of 50s, we are getting 70s now. Without a major loss in visual quality. Now we're still dropping down to the 50s, guys, so I don't know. Do we want this or no?
Excuse me.
See, it drops down to the 50s when you're on the ground, on the streets. Yeah, I should go back, turn it off. No ray tracing and we should be fine. Yep, we're getting about 100 FPS on performance settings. Okay, that is pretty cool. Let's go to high settings now. Not ray tracing and no upscalers. This is high settings. 83 FPS. 379 FPS, which is pretty good.
That car does not care for traffic laws. What? Big mistake, Spider!
Okay, we are dropping into the 60s. But it's still staying on the 60s. Still pretty playable without any upscalers. Now move on to let's just see on everything low, because why not? So we are gonna go upscaler method, DLSS Ultra Performance, and graphics very low. Okay, I don't know why I'm doing this, but let's see. Almost 200 FPS. And oh my gosh, the artifacting is insane. Yeah, this is not fun. I mean, it's fun just swinging around, but visually doesn't look that good. Yeah, there's a lot of blurriness going on in around Peter's body. Just nah. I like to see those smooth 150 FPS. Yeah, we hit the 200s with this. Awesome, awesome. 200 FPS. In 1440p. But you should definitely not play like this with a 3080 Ti and a 9800X 3D. Let's move to 1080p now. So it's 1080p high max ray tracing without any upscalers, and it's at 60 FPS, and it's already dropping to the 55s. So even on 1080p you cannot play this game with maxed out ray tracing. on native settings with 60 FPS. Sadly, that's the case. This game is pretty intensive, especially with ray tracing on. I don't know why, but with ray tracing on, there's a lot of blur effects or shimmering or artifacts that I can see around Peter while he's moving. 50 FPS. Let's try turning it down. Or let's try turning on DLSS and quality. 76. We're using over 10 gigabytes of video memory on 1080p, guys. So just think about it, how intensive ray tracing actually is. And Nvidia is selling us 16 GB cards in 2025. How the hell are you gonna play, like, pay over $2,000 for a 5080 and have only 16 GB of video memory? I cannot believe this. When you're paying over $2,000 on a card, you expect to play the game on 4K, 60 FPS, any new game. But nope, that is not the case. Even on 1080p, this game is so demanding with all the bells and whistles turned on. Can't believe this. Let's go down to, let's turn off ray tracing. And now we're getting 100 FPS. This is what we'd like to see. So this is really playable. Let's turn off DLSS. Go native. Still getting 100 FPS. Though it drops down sometimes. This is still pretty much playable, guys. So if you are rocking a 1080p monitor with a 3080 Ti, you can play this game on more than 60 FPS without ray tracing on in 1080p. Sounds amazing, right? Wow.
What's being sold there? Nothing good. This is Damon's last shipment. Hope you guys kept your receipts. I
Yeah, we're getting solid 100 FPS. Pretty damn good. But it's 1080p, so should be good. So for the fun of it, let's go very low, and you know what it is, DLSS Ultra Performance. Let's see if we can match our screen refresh rate. 200 FPS. $142. We're not able to get 200 FPS with this? No way. Looks absolutely terrible. So you know what? Let's turn on frame generation and see maximum FPS we can get on this card with the CPU. So we have to restart the game, of course. We are back with frame generation on, and we're getting 265 FPS. But look at that! Oh my goodness, guys! Look at, can you even see Peter? Guys, Peter is too fast for this technology on AMD FSR and frame generation. Yeah, the pixel cannot keep up with the speed. Look at that! Look at the artifacting around him and all the buildings. Jesus Christ! So 212, 260 right there, 300. So yeah, you can get around 300 FPS on these settings. But oh my god, the sacrifice you have to make. Doesn't look good at all, guys. Especially on a 4K monitor, 1080p. This looks absolutely terrible. Alright, I think that's all I had to do for this benchmark on Spiderman. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And I will be back with another GPU on this game to see how things go. But for now, that'll be it. Hope you guys are having a great day. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.